All right, it looks like we're live. Welcome, everybody. Today's Friday, July 1st, 2022. We're a few days away from Independence Day, 4th of July. Awesome day. And we're only a few days away from me moving again. We seem to do this every year, but hey. And if any of let's say if you see this video 200 years from now and you're looking up your family and you're looking at your old great grandpappy and you're like, man, was he in the witness protection program? Was he running from the law? It's none of the above. I think I might have gypsy in my blood, and so does my wife. So here we go again, moving to Fort Collins, where our son and daughter-in-law and grandkids are, and we love Fort Collins anyway. All right, any questions? Today is Ask Joe Anything, and I'll try to answer it. If I can't answer it, I'll look it up and we'll put it in the comments, right? So if you have a question, you just put it in the comment box and I'll read it. If you don't, I'll just start talking about whatever comes to my mind and what I think might help you. And so maybe we'll do that if nobody's here today, because I know people are busy. They're getting ready for the 4th of July weekend, you know, all that celebration. Keep in mind, you know, fireworks are a lot of fun, aren't they? And we love them. They make noise. They're sparkly. They're really awesome. But, you know, people, a lot of dogs out there are extremely afraid of those noises, including my dog. And I don't know what the solution is, because, of course, we're not going to stop people from lighting off firecrackers and all that stuff during 4th of July. And, you know, it's just very, very bad. Like, it's almost like your dog's almost going to die because they're so scared and they're hiding in a corner and there's no way around. There's nothing you can do unless you take them in your car and drive out to the middle of nowhere where there's no one. And that's where you spend the night on the 4th of July and the day before and the weekend and, you know, all that. So anyway, that's just my little tidbit on making a bunch of noise and hurting those poor little dog ears, right? All right. So, we were going to talk about the 10 gram yesterday, I said, because I've already talked about the 1 gram and the 4 gram. But since today is all about Ask Any Question, I decided to wait until Tuesday, because Mondays are Marketing Monday. You know, that's what we're going to start doing. We're going to talk only about marketing on Mondays, right? And I'll look at some stuff this weekend and come up with a really good plan to help you. We'll talk about a subject that might help you get more business. And so that's what I'll be thinking about. But, you know, I move next week. You all know that. We talked about this. So on the 6th of July, which is Wednesday, I won't be having a show because I won't have a computer. They're going to be packing it up. No, they're not packing up my computer. Those are going into a car. I don't know how many of you know, my wife and I bought a new Grand Cherokee Jeep. And it only has like 3,000 miles on it. We were going to eat last night. We were probably 2 miles away from the house, and it started like revving up and making this weird noise. And I pulled into a parking lot of a restaurant called Neaters and had it towed away. 3,000 miles. My new car got towed away. And this is funny. I'm sure a lot of you have taken Ubers, right? You've been out there, you've taken Ubers. My wife and I have never taken an Uber because why? We have cars. So we had to do it, and we had to download the app. And of course, they had bad internet where we're at that restaurant. We're trying to get the dang app to load up because you can't even call an Uber. And finally, we got it loaded up, and we took the Uber. It was a pleasant ordeal, and we made it home safely. Now we're waiting for the diagnosis, right? What's wrong with my brand new dang car? Now, believe me, because I was in restoration industry, and I go into houses and I see that people, you know, don't have enough insurance to do what they need to do, or, you know, those kind of things. I am very big on warranties. So not only do I have the warranty of a brand new car, but I got the Mega Gap warranty also, the platinum one, right? Like, you know how they talk you into that. It's only like $13 a month for the rest of your life, but you have the Mega Gap. So I have that. So it doesn't matter what's wrong. They're getting it fixed. Okay. So now we got to wait for that. And then once they diagnose us, and it's going to take a few days or whatever, we can get a rental car at that point. But I'm moving next week, man. I don't got time for this stuff, right? Nobody's got time for that. So let's talk about, we were just talking about insurance. So let me talk about that for a minute, because this is extremely important for all of you out there, right? And in your own business, in your own homes, right? I wrote an article one time, and it's probably over 10,000 words. It was a blog on insurance riders, because I've been in so many houses and I watched all these people lose everything because they didn't have enough insurance, right? So I think this is a great day to talk about that, unless I get a question. Okay, so let's start with like your basement. If you don't have a rider for sewage backup, if you have a basement, or your clients, it really doesn't cover very much, right? You have a very limited warranty, or you have very limited insurance for your home if you don't have a rider for sewage backup. And I've seen it time and time again where people have lost everything because it's expensive. When you have sewage category 3 water, everything gets tore out. All the carpet, all the pad, the walls, as high as they're wet, everything. It's sewage damage. It's nasty, right? And so if you don't have insurance for that, not only do you have to pay for that part of it, the cleanup and the drying and the sanitization, the disinfecting, but now you got to put it back together. And that costs tens of thousands of dollars a lot of times, right? So I implore you, if you don't have the rider for sewage backup, and also look at if you have a sump pump in your basement or crawl space, talk to your insurance agent about all those things, that it gets covered, right? That you have coverage in case something happens. If your crawl space floods from your sump pump failing, right? Going out, because a lot of people live on high water tables. The sump pump is continuously pumping water out so it doesn't flood your crawl space or your basement if you're on a high water table. I mean, I did a job one time where, the expansion joints, they put concrete down. They always have those. It stops here and there's an expansion joint. I was in a house one time and the water was like, their sump pump quit working and the water was coming up about that. It was like bubbling up, like out of these expansion joints and flooding this basement. And they're asking me if I can pump it out. And I'm like, well, no, it's not going to stop. There is no pumping this out. It's going to equalize once it hits ground level. It won't fill up to the ceiling. It will, it's going to come up to wherever the ground level is and stop there. So since a basement's below ground, it's going to fill up, right? So anyway, make sure you have those riders. They're extremely important. Mold rider, like not everybody has insurance for mold. Like they don't sell insurance for mold. Years ago, before, I forget her name now, the one that sued farmers for all that money on that mold thing out of Texas. I forget what her name is at the moment. Anyway, after that lawsuit, everything changed for mold, right? So now you want to make sure you get mold coverage. Some insurance companies don't even cover mold. So when you're getting insurance for your home, make sure you can get the rider for mold coverage. And usually it's $2,500, $5,000, $7,500, or $10,000. Some insurance companies only cover up to $2,500. Right? Others are $5,000, $7,500, or $10,000. And a way around that, when we would do jobs and they had coverage, let's talk about $2,500. We would do a job and they have a $2,500 mold coverage. They have that rider on their insurance. Now we would make the rest of it. If it was an $8,000 mold job, we would, $2,500 would be mold and the rest of it would be water damage related. So you just break it out, right? Like you have to do it that way if you want to get them coverage. And that's true. How does mold happen? From water. Because insurance doesn't cover long-term mold. So if it's from condensation or something like that, you're not covered anyway. There is no insurance for that. That's called you're not paying attention, right? Long-term is never covered. If a pipe broke and you were on vacation, right, and it got everything wet and you were gone for like 14 days on a nice little, Hawaiian vacation, and you come home and everything's flooded and there's mold growing now because it's been a couple of weeks. Those are the kind of things I'm talking about that are covered. So if you have $2,500 mold coverage, the rest of it's water damage, of course, right? So you don't, and sometimes I do these jobs and not even call it mold because after a few days, it's category 3 anyway. So you're going to tear out walls anyway. So because, once it sits, it becomes, it's not sanitary water anymore. It's because of all the microorganisms and all the bacteria and all the stuff and urine in the carpet or whatever. If you have pets, there's all that stuff that comes into play. So you want to make sure you have these riders that are extremely important for yourself. Another idea is this. The contents in your home. Most of you, I'm sure, even if you're a renter, you have renter's insurance. You're insuring your contents, all the stuff in your home. So you're going to insure all that stuff, right? So now what you got to do, and this is a great story because you might be newly married and you're starting to accumulate stuff, right? You're buying stuff. And so you get insurance because you own your first house, or even if you're renting, you got renter's insurance, and maybe your stuff's worth $20,000. So you got this insurance that will cover you up to like $30,000. Well, as you live together and as you go through life, you accumulate more and more stuff. You need to make sure that you're updating that insurance. Do you know my insurance for my contents? I got like 1.5 times the insurance that I really need, because, just because I bought this computer for $3,000 does not mean it's $3,000 2 years from now, right? That same computer, or because everything's updated, same type of computer can be $5,000. I got to make sure I have coverage to update everything that I've bought, right? Another really, really important thing to think about is your jewelry. If you have jewelry, that's something you really want to get insurance for. You want to take pictures. My wife's jewelry, we've had it appraised. So we actually have appraisals on some of our jewelry that's more expensive. Like her wedding ring is worth a lot of money. So we got it appraised, right? So we have that certificate of it being appraised. Like a year ago, we got it appraised. And then other jewelry that she has that's worth money, like that has diamonds in it, gold, stuff like that, right? You gotta insure those, and then I have everything insured so I can replace it if I have to. So that's another important thing. I think this is a great subject. A lot of us don't think about that much, but and then something happens. Somebody breaks into your house, steals all your wife's or husband's jewelry, right? And man, there's what are you going to do now, right? And especially if you didn't claim it, say you had that. You can't go to the insurance company and say they just took the Hope diamond out of my safe, right? Because without evidence, you have nothing. Everything I have that's worth money has something that says it's worth that kind of money. I think it's extremely important because I've done all for years and years. We took contents out of houses, packed it out, and for cleaning purposes, for mostly from fire damage, right? From smoke and soot and all that kind of stuff. I think it's really important that whenever you get something new, you take a picture of it, but you have a catalog on a thumb drive and in the cloud of all your stuff. So if there's ever a dispute between you and the insurance company, you have a record of everything. And you don't have to do it in a day. Take a room, go in a room, take pictures of everything, document everything. I've done that, and I've done that only because of the type of work I was in. And if anything ever happens, I'm well covered, and I even have documentation. You just go through the house, right? In fact, I was going to open up a business at one time doing exactly that, because we're already doing content stuff. We already had iCat, the software that you use on contents packouts. So we had a software that would take all those pictures. You don't have to have that. You can save it on a thumb drive and say what room it's in, as long as you have proof that you own this thing, right? The easiest thing to do, once you do that, every time you buy something new, bring it into the house, just take a picture of that new thing and a picture of the receipt. So now you have a receipt, what it cost, and you have a picture of that item. Okay, it's extremely important to have that type of insurance and know that you're well covered, because most people don't think about insurance. They call their insurance guy, right? Like it might have been 10 years since you talked to your insurance agent, and now you've accumulated different things, right? There's remodels to your home and all this kind of stuff, right? Always have code upgrade on anything that you do, right? Like, because you never know how code's going to change. And, that's important. Another great insurance to have if you're a homeowner is like American Home Shield, where it covers like all your appliances, your washer, your dryer, your refrigerator, microwave. It covers your plumbing, electrical, right? All that kind of stuff. Now, a lot of you know that I'm moving. We sold our house, and we have American Home Shield, where the inspector found like 3 leaks. And when I say leaks, it never hits the ground because it's so slow, it dries before it can even hit the bottom, right? But he can feel a little bit of moisture. So we had to get those things fixed. My American Home Shield, this would have cost me like $2,000. My American Home Shield paid $75, paid for all that because I got the top of the line American Home Shield. And whenever you get something like American Home Shield, if you're a homeowner, make sure you get code upgrade. Extremely important. You could buy a house where I have a hot water heater and it wasn't, I have a new hot water heater now. It wasn't up to code, right? And so in order to bring it up to code, that would have cost some money, but I had insurance for that. It didn't cost me anything except the $75 deductible. That's it. I even have the American Home Shield where it covers my roof, my plumbing, my electrical. So if anything goes wrong, $75 is all I pay. My air conditioner, they said it wasn't cooling down enough. So I got my air conditioner service, $75. Okay, so it's really good to have that type of insurance if you don't have it, because once you don't have it, then I only pay, let me give you a little secret. I pay $55 a month for American Home Shield, right? Well worth it. Even if I pay for a year, one appliance that I might have to replace costs way more than that whole year of payments, right? How you do it. So I've done this forever. And so you go on to American Home Shield if you're going to get that insurance. That only works for these types of insurance, not your homeowner's insurance. They're not willing and dealing with you. You go in there, you fill the thing out, and you don't do anything. Like you do nothing. You don't complete it. And so now you're going to start getting these emails. In 2 days, you get an email with 10% off. Right? You wait another week, 30% off. Do you know that I got 60% off my monthly fee because I waited like a month? Because I had another company we were using and I was switching. And so I just do it like that. You wait a little while and they're going to always give you discounts because they want to make that sell. And it's all automatic. They got my email. They see what I did. So if this happens, do this. If this happens, do this. If nothing happens, send him this one until he buys. And I bought at 60% off. Did they have a 70% off? I don't know. I didn't wait. I thought 60% was great. American Home Shield, extremely important to have if you own a home. It's really going to save you. But make sure you get the platinum version because it covers everything, like your electrical, your plumbing, your roof, your appliances. It's some of the best insurance you can get, right, for your home. And once again, there's a rider for almost everything. Right? If you buy, it doesn't matter what it is, right? There's riders for everything. I have no idea why insurance agents never talk about all this stuff because they can make more money by selling these riders. Like, why are you not explaining to your client that if they have a sewage backup in their basement or if they have mold, they're not covered unless they get these riders? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And I know that agents aren't doing that because I've done thousands of homes and I've seen the problem, right? And there's nothing worse than you have all this, the money cost. And if you remodel your basement, man, you might have spent $50,000, right? You lose every bit of that if you get a sewage backup. And that's where it's going to happen on the lower level, right? So the lower level, the lower that level to the ground, that's where it's going to come up first. That's why if you have a crawl space, it comes up in a crawl space and not your house. It's coming up in the crawl space. If there's a drain, it's going to come up in the lowest level. I did a job. This is probably 20 years ago, and it's in the south side of town, southeast side of town. Okay. We got a call. The lady said that the city line was backing up into her house. She was at the bottom of the hill. There was like, I don't know, 15 houses going up this hill, right? She was at the very bottom. So everything going up was flowing down and backing up into her house. I've only seen this one time in all the years being in business. I mean, I've done a lot of sewage backups. In the toilet and the showers, the water was hitting the ceiling. It was coming out so hard. It was coming out of the toilet, hitting the ceiling, out of the shower drain, hitting the ceiling. I've never seen anything like that. And because when we came to our house in the front yard, when you drive up, you don't see anything. We went around back because our house was where it was a walkout basement. So the house kind of sat up high here, lower down here. We go there, her sliding doors open, and sewage is running out of her house. So we get suited up in our rubber suit, right? And we put our respirator on and all that. And we walk in there and we see this, and there's really no way to stop it until the city actually clears the line, because how are we going to stop it? So anyway, the city was out there working on it, and they got it cleared. And this house was a total mess, right? Now, she didn't have sewage insurance, but the city paid for it. So she was okay on hers. Imagine if it wasn't the city. Well, it would never come out like that from your own stop. Even if you're running water upstairs, it's just going to come out a little bit. When you're talking about a big pipe and the city is backed up, bam, it was hitting the ceiling. And so that was a great job. In fact, on that job, I got a little story here too. I got a story for everything. They were an older couple. They were probably in their 80s, right? And the husband wasn't feeling good, so he was staying home all week. We worked in this house for a while because we even did the rebuild. And so when we were doing the rebuild, we were redoing the shower. We hear a thump, and I'm like, and I didn't think anything of it, right? So we're down there, we're working, and I'm going to go say goodbye to the gentleman, right? And because it's 4 or 5 hours later, and he's laying in the hallway, and he's dead. He died. He had a heart attack. So anyway, the wife comes home, and you would think that, she'd be in hysterics, but it kind of looked like she was excited. So maybe he was mean. I don't know. But here's the funny part of the story. It's not funny that he died while I was working there. It's kind of weird that we were working for 4 or 5 hours. There was a dead person up there. But I come back to get paid. This is a couple weeks later, right? Everything's getting finalized. She's got a brand new Cadillac. She's going to Hawaii on a vacation. She's the happiest woman I've ever seen in my life. Okay, so who knows what kind of relationship it was, but it was kind of a trip that she must have made some money off the deal, because she bought a new Cadillac and was going to Hawaii. What's that got to do with riders? Absolutely nothing. But I got to kill some more time, 8 more minutes, right? And sometimes it's just good to talk to y'all, and you get to know my personality. I get to know you, and we just talk, right? And so that I like to talk. That's what I do, pretty much nonstop. And I love what I do. I love helping people. So riders are extremely important. If you need more info, you're always welcome to call me and go over this stuff. If you want to find out about all the different riders, you can go to ameridri.com, AMERIDRI.com. That's my old company. You can go there, and you can go into the blog posts, and because he's got all my blog posts, and you find the one that I wrote about the insurance riders, and it's got everything in there, man. It's like 10,000 words. So if you need to know more, just go there. I wrote that years ago, and I don't even remember how long ago it was, but it was years ago. And it's a very good read, right? And so it's something good that you can look at and get an idea of the different types of riders, because I did all this research to find out what they were. Off the top of my head, I don't remember them all, but it's extremely important. People don't think about paying more insurance, do they? They think about paying less. How can I get the cheapest insurance? And then something happens, and now you lose big time if you can't rebuild your house, right? Like, look, think about this. When I bought insurance on my house here, right? When I bought this house 14 months ago, and any house that I buy, when I buy insurance, I don't insure it for what I bought it for. Because in order to rebuild my house with the prices of wood right now, it would be like 30-40% more than what my house is even worth right now. It would cost a lot more to rebuild it. So I made sure, and we have a great insurance agent. It's Callie Cuffey Insurance. And listen, if you need restoration insurance or carpet cleaning insurance or anything, she can handle almost every state. What I love about her, I've worked with her like 20 years, is she's not like an independent, like a Farmers or a State Farm or an Allstate. She's an independent, and she shops all of them so she can get you the very best deal. But she's very, very well versed in our types of businesses, right? Carpet cleaning, water damage, fire, mold, because she worked with me all those years. So she understands where to get the best policies and things. If you need information about her, just give me a call and I'll get it to you. It's Callie Cuffey, CalleCuff. That's kind of a cool name. Insurance, Callie Cuffy Insurance. And I've used her for almost 20 years now. Of course, I don't have a type of business that you all have anymore, but I still use her for my homeowner insurance, my automobile insurance, because she's the best. And it's quite frankly the best rates, right? And our automobile insurance in Colorado is pretty high because of all the hail damage and all the hail we get, right? So we had a once in 1,000-year hail damage about, I don't know, 6.5 years ago. So our insurance is almost doubled because of that, because tens of thousands of homes were damaged and automobiles, right? So your auto insurance goes up along with your roof insurance and all that, right? It becomes different. So if you're going to get a roof, get a hail resistant roof. You can bring your insurance premiums down about 20%. Having a hail-resistant roof, let me say that again, having a hail-resistant roof can bring your insurance premiums down about 20%. When I had my roofing company, Chris and Sil Dunlap now own it. When I had it, I advertised that, right? Like, we will upgrade you for free to a hail-resistant roof at no additional cost. And this is what else happens. It's going to lower your insurance by 20% because now the insurance company is extremely happy that they might not have to pay for a new roof because it's hail resistant 50-year roof. Okay. Anyway, wow. Now, how many of you can do this, like talk nonstop and not take a breath? That's like 26 minutes with no breath. Anyway, it's fun. I enjoy it and I love helping, as you know. So on Monday, we're going to talk about marketing, and I'm going to do some research over the weekend and come up with something really good that you guys can use that's going to be beneficial to all of you, and that gives you a lot of value. So I'll really be thinking about that, okay? And so I think it doesn't matter if you own a home, right? If you own a home, you're going to get homeowners insurance, and you're going to get contents insurance, and you're going to get insurance for your jewelry, right? You're going to look at all those riders in case something backs up. If you're renting a place, renter's insurance. Make sure that your contents are covered. Don't go around and think, oh, this is the lowest cost without knowing what the heck you're buying, right? Understand what you're buying. Make sure that your stuff is covered, and make sure they know that you have jewelry that might be worth $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 or whatever, or more, right? Like, it's important that you get those things appraised, because the insurance company's going to fight you. They're not giving you $50,000 for a ring unless you have proof. And if it's stolen, you no longer have proof. Right? It's your word, right? You can say that you had this big thing and you bought this thing 30 years ago or whatever, but you can't prove it without having something appraised. All right. And so that's what we do with all of my wife's jewelry. We get it appraised because I know how important it is. I may never need to use my insurance. I think I've used my insurance like once, right? And us restorers always hope that our house would flood or catch on fire because we need a new kitchen. We don't want to pay out of our pocket. If that kitchen can just flood and ruin everything, I'm going to get a new kitchen. Not only is it not going to cost me anything, I'm going to make money on it. So who doesn't want to do that? Do that, right? But you can't make your kitchen flood. Don't think you're going to cut the pipe and they're not going to figure it out, okay? I've actually ran into stuff like that where I've been into homes and a home flooded, and I'm taking pictures for the insurance company because when a pipe bursts, it bursts. Right? It doesn't it's not a straight cut. You can't cut the pipe in and let it start leaking out because it's a straight cut and clean that off and think the insurance company isn't going to figure it out. When it bursts open, right? So it sort of looks like a football that's been cut open, something like that most of the time. So I've been in houses where I knew that's exactly what they did, right? And so now you got to be careful when you're talking to a client about that. Like, you're calling them a liar right to their face, right? You got to be very careful because it's not your call. It's the adjuster's call. Your job is to take a picture. But at that point, if you see something like that, you definitely do not want to start this job till you get approval because you're not getting paid. This guy or woman or whatever is trying to cheat the system. And there's no cheating the system, because a lot of times on insurance claims, we'd have to cut that piece out and send it to the insurance company. They want to investigate it. They want to see it, right? And so a straight cut is not a burst pipe. All right. Yeah. So anyway, no cheating here. Thank you all so much for today. It's not like, oh, we got like 30 seconds left, but thank you for coming. I hope that maybe this will help a lot of you, like actually look at your insurance and make sure you don't get screwed in the event that you do have a catastrophe, right? I don't want that to happen to anybody. I've looked in too many faces and seen that fear and you know, what do you, if you're not getting paid for this, I mean, it's crazy. You're the biggest investment in your life, and now you can't fix that investment because you don't have the money. And a lot of people don't have the money to spend 30, 40, 50, $60,000 to replace and fix what might have got damaged for something like that. Okay. All right. Have a great day. Can't wait to see you on Monday for Marketing Monday. And thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Craig. Great question. Oh, you didn't ask any questions. Great info. Have a great day, everybody. We're going to end now.